Welcome back to Bottom Line. Earlier, we mentioned Caterpillar reported first quarter profit that increased more than five-fold. Joining us now on the phone from Caterpillar's headquarters in Peoria, Illinois, is the CEO, Douglas Oberhelman. Mr. Oberhelman, welcome to Bottom Line. Always good to have you on.
Great to be here with you today, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Caterpillar shares up some 20% this year. Only Boeing has performed better on the Dow Industrials. What happened in the last 12 months that accounts for this staggering growth?
Well, the stock moves are the stock moves, as you know, and where people place their money and equities is something that's a whole other subject for another day. But what we're working hard at here, Mark, is just delivering on our plan and executing for results. And I think so far that the first quarter results into 2011 look very, very good and very solid, and I'm very pleased with it. So far, so good.
Sir, which area then were you getting the most results? Where were you most pleased with performance?
Well, I have to tell you, I can't really identify too many soft spots right now, whether it's industry-wise, geography-wise, parts of our company. Things are going pretty well, and this is without our big developed world, that is Europe and North America, cooking very quickly. So we're getting all of that, all these good results and lots of production out of our factories through lots of good work by our people around the world, and really have a good tailwind going.
Sir, earlier this hour, my colleague, our senior markets correspondent, Julie Hyman, noted that you did wade a little into political waters today. In a statement, you said, quoting here, "We are positive about the short-term U.S. economic outlook, but you believe," quoting here, "that bipartisan actions are needed in Washington to improve the long-run fiscal position of the U.S. government." First, what specific actions would you like to see? And second, is the Obama administration, as some have said, anti-business?
Well, I'm going to stick with the great quote I heard from a politician the other day, and that is, it's time to check everybody's partisanship, everybody's background and history at the door, and let's get at work solving our problems for the benefit of the country and the people. And I think it's that simple. We in business every day have to balance budgets. We can't live beyond our means. We are encouraging all government leaders to do that really at all levels. And we did wade into that because over the long term, we need a strong economy in this country led by a strong government to get that done.
Well, the need to score political points with some on Capitol Hill notwithstanding, do you believe that some of our leaders in Washington understand that partisanship is just not only not good for the discourse, but it's not good for American businesses?
I really think individually, when you talk to all of our political leadership, they understand it. And whether it's about bipartisanship or about the depth of the problems with our debt load in this country, the future of Medicare, the future of Social Security, whatever it is, they understand it. But we've got to get everybody pulling together at the same time to get it solved. And that becomes the political discourse and the political odds that don't let it happen. So we are really trying and really trying to step up our voice to try to get everybody to the table for the good of what needs to be solved, which is it's a daunting problem, that's for sure.
Well, I'm speaking with the Caterpillar CEO, Douglas Oberhelman. Mr. Oberhelman, Asian demand, as we mentioned, it's driving up commodity prices. With the acquisition of mining equipment maker Bucyrus, do you think that Caterpillar is now poised, at least going forward, on rising demand for that type of equipment?
Well, Bucyrus is going to be a natural add to us. We've talked about that. We're still on a track for closing that mid-2011. And if you believe, as I do, and the studies we've looked at here at Caterpillar, that with 7 billion people, nearly 7 billion people on our planet, wanting to live in the 21st century, that's going to create a tremendous demand for the things that come out of the earth. And we'd like to be there to supply it to all of our customers, and that's what we're working on with Bucyrus.
Mr. Oberhelman, the earthquake and tsunami in Japan, that tragedy is likely going to cost your company about $300 million in sales, another $100 million in operating profit. Caterpillar's facilities in Japan, they weren't damaged, but how did it affect the company's outlook? And secondarily, what was the effect on suppliers in Japan?
Well, the Japanese earthquake, tsunami, and obviously nuclear meltdown, I guess, as a result of all of that are a tremendous blow to Japan, the country, the people. I lived in Japan 4 years. I still have friends in Japan. We have 4,000 people or so in Japan, and everyone has a story about relatives, friends that were impacted. And it is a tragedy beyond belief. That area of Sendai is very modern, it's very sophisticated, and to have it basically wiped out for many square miles is a very tough thing for the country of Japan, who was trying to recover from, you know, almost a 20-year-old period of slowdown anyway. So we're worried about, in terms of our case, none of our people were impacted, our facilities weren't. A few of our suppliers were, and it comes and goes, and we talked about that in terms of the numbers you put up, but we're working through that, and every day the news changes. So we're optimistic that in the end we'll be through this, but it's a horrible human tragedy for the country of Japan, no question about it.
You have said that business outside of the United States is, in your words, booming. What accounts for the growth outside of our shores?
Well, there's just so much of, I think, just progress going, Mark. If you look at GDP growth rates in the developing world, they're double the developed. People have had access to more open markets and more, call it the good things of life than in history. And that's bringing lots of development opportunities. People need infrastructure, they need electric power, they need oil, they need gas, they need energy. And all of those are things we supply at Caterpillar. So I'm very optimistic that we've got open-ended opportunity to take advantage of that down the road. But it's just basically people enjoying the things of life that are now available to them in open economies.
Mr. Oberhelman, since Caterpillar has a global footprint, does that mean that your expansion overseas is a vote of confidence for a strong and sustained economic recovery? And with increased demand, how will you control cost?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. And certainly the demand overseas is strong, but I will submit to you that I see the U.S. recovering. We're about half the level of industry activity in our business that we saw in 2006. We'll recover and come back from that. Yeah. But there's no question the overseas demand is driving a lot of good things, even inside the U.S. today, including a lot of our exports, which were up 30% last year. So we like to see that in a very big way.
Sir, in our last minute, earlier this month, you wrote a letter to the governor of Illinois, Pat Quinn, and you expressed concerns that an increase in the state's income tax was bad for businesses. You also mentioned other states have made overtures to you in an attempt to lure Caterpillar from its headquarters in Peoria. Is the environment in Illinois conducive to business growth, and is Caterpillar considering moving out of the state?
Well, we started the dialogue with the governor and the political leaders in Illinois to really address the root causes of some deep-seated, long-standing problems in this state. Right. I met with the governor. We had a very good session for a couple of hours when he came here to Peoria. I believe he's committed to changing the state's image, righting the state's financial ship, and making some progress. So that's really what that was about.
You going to stay?
Again, to try to get the state leadership together.
And you're staying in Illinois?
We're going to stay in Illinois.
All right. The CEO of Caterpillar, Douglas Oberhelman, joining us from the company's headquarters in Peoria. Sir, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you today.
You too, sir.